Last week we had UK CPI, that's the inflation read, that came in slightly higher than expected. The interesting thing about the UK is that the UK MPC, Monetary Policy Committee, that's the equivalent of their RBA, they don't have an inflation target. So inflation affects sterling, but not the same way as it would affect other currencies. Despite that slightly higher than we were expecting CPI number there over in the UK, we are still of the view that they are going to continue easing rates there. They're easing at the moment based purely on trying to stimulate their economy rather than trying to get rid of any inflation that's there at the moment. Last week we also had our US initial claims. That's a weekly number that was close to expectations. It's actually been very close or slightly better than expected pretty much every week for the last 6 or 8 weeks. Looks like the economists are actually starting to earn their money and getting that right. Excuse me. It's the eternal tension between people who trade and economists. Traders do and economists talk about it. But that was close to expected and didn't actually have very much of an impact on the dollar. It only really has an impact on the dollar if it's somewhere between 8 and 10% away from expectations. So there's one to keep in your back pocket if you're looking at data over there in the US. If it's more than about 8 or 10% away from expectations, that's generally when it's going to kick the market one way or the other. Last week we also had the Australian Crypto Convention. That's why Mark's still in Sydney here with us. That was in Sydney at the International Convention Centre. Thank you to all of our clients who popped in and said hello. It was nice to meet you in person, and it was a good event. Obviously, I think the organisers would have loved to have had Bitcoin actually tick over that $100,000 level per coin. Didn't quite get there, still hasn't got there, and is sitting just below. So that wraps up last week.